Hey guys, so today's mini tea about things happening on the internet, mainly YouTube and TikTok. So before we get into the video, here's my Instagram, my TikTok, and my puppy's Instagram. So subscribe, hit that bell, and you'll find out whenever I post a video, which is usually every other day, sometimes even every day. So make sure you stick around to find out what's happening on the internet. Give this video a thumbs up and comment anything about anything that I'm talking about. So first story, Noah Beck. We're finishing the story of the prank that went wrong. So Bryce Hall pranked Dixie and Noah. So what happened was Bryce invited some over to pose with Noah. Noah had a blindfold on, he didn't know what was happening. Bryce Hall FaceTimes Dixie while all of that is happening, and basically she hangs up, gets really upset. Since then, he hasn't apologized. Dixie's mum expressed that she wasn't happy about this at all in a Kevin Wong interview, and in the first half of that video, I didn't mention that in my last video, I just completely forgot about it. Dixie said, you know, she was kind of upset, but she's like okay with it. She's basically playing it off as like, oh yeah, it's not a big deal.
How's your dinner today, Dixie?
It was amazing.
Dixie, I have a question. Are you and Noah, are you guys still on good terms?
Who?
You and Noah?
Oh yeah, we're dating.
Did the prank, did it affect you at all in any way, the Bryce Hall prank?
It was fine. I don't really have an opinion on it. It was okay. Not his best prank.
Did you get a chance to speak to Bryce about it, Dixie?
I have not talked to him.
Are you and Noah talking still?
Yeah, we're dating.
Thank you, Dixie. You look amazing tonight. Thank you, Dixie.
Noah also did another interview where he spoke about the fact that Bryce Hall apologized to him.
I spoke to Heidi today and asked her about Bryce. About the prank, and she said it was a little bit unacceptable. What was your reaction to that?
My reaction?
Yeah, to Heidi thinking that the Bryce prank was unacceptable.
Well, basically, she said with her own words, she said that it was.
I mean, if something like that happened to my daughter, and I saw things going around on my For You page. Like I threw Bryce under the bus.
Yeah.
Huh? Like. Bryce knows he made it. Like Bryce knows he kind of stepped over the line.
Yeah.
It was a bit disrespectful, and he apologized to me. But he shouldn't even apologize to me. He should be apologizing to Dixie. But like he knows. Like there's really not much more to it.
But I'm like, you know, you apologize to Noah, but where's the apology to Dixie? Right? I feel like Noah doesn't really deserve an apology in this. Like, whatever, like it didn't really affect him, but like where's Dixie's apology? I want to know if you apologize to her. That's just my opinion. So that's kind of where the saga is finishing off. We're not really getting much more information now. Another thing, Bretman Rock is having his own reality TV show with MTV. Do you guys remember when MTV did Tanner Turns 21 and then Tanner Unfiltered, I think it was called? It was like 2 seasons of an MTV reality TV show, and it did not make Tanner look good. I don't know if you guys remember it, but like people that disliked Tanner hated her after that show, and people that liked her had really mixed feelings about it. And she actually ended up filming a video where she explained the whole thing and how MTV basically screwed her over. They edited things to look a certain way, they made them do stuff that didn't really make them look good, and the whole thing was just not that great. I don't know how much she got paid for it, but I don't know if it was worth it, because the way people looked at her afterwards is just not great. And I'm hoping the same thing doesn't happen to Bretman, because obviously he's like wildly liked by people, so it's just like, I hope the same thing doesn't happen. I know an episode has already come out and it's him and his sister basically competing over who can make the best food, and yeah, it just seems like funny petty like drama, but nothing too serious so far. So I'm hoping the producers don't try to push Bretman to say and do things that he normally wouldn't to make him look bad, because that's what happened with Tanner and it wasn't great. So I'm hoping we don't get the same video from Bretman basically being like, oh my god, they screwed me over, that's not me, that's not who I am, because that's kind of, you know, that's sometimes how reality TV goes. It's not real. Producers will push people to do stuff they don't want to do, and that's exactly what happened to Tanner. Then we have Eugenia Cooney. I recently spoke about the fact that she was on a Twitch stream and people mentioned Jeffree Star and the allegations against him, and for most of it there is a lot of evidence, as much as it hasn't been like completely confirmed, proven, like there is a lot of evidence for it, and people brought it up, and she was like, I hate when people make up false stories without evidence about people, and people are like, you're victim blaming, and she was like, I'm not victim blaming, I just don't know when people accuse people of doing stuff, and it's like, that's quite literally the definition right here. After getting a lot of backlash, she then tweeted out saying, I was never trying to victim shame anyone in any way. I truly never want to hurt anyone and never was trying to put down or personally attack anybody. But again, I know I probably don't always word things right, and I'm sorry for anyone that misunderstood or was hurt by that. All I've tried to say is that when people basically come in and start trying to get me to accuse and attack people, I don't feel like it's my place to do that and to place judgment upon others, and I don't really see why people want me to do that. Well, because Jeffree Star is an awful human being and you continue to support him, you continue to review his makeup and talk proudly and loudly about him, and maybe it's time to look inward and be like, does that make me look like a good person? Maybe I should, in my own spare time, look into all the allegations against him and make up my own mind and slowly distance myself from him because it is not a good look. That's my opinion on that. Trisha Paytas, I forgot to mention yesterday, there was like a lot of stories, you know, so with Trisha, she responded to a few things happening on the internet and it didn't fit into yesterday's video, so I'm putting it into today's because it spans across many stories. She filmed a lot of TikToks regarding Shane, Jeffree and Ryland. So there's this one about Shane, you know, just once again like mocking him, you know, doing little jokes about him.
Honestly, I don't remember. I was probably up. Yeah, I was crazy back then.
But then there's this one about Hair by Jay where she discusses, you know, the fact that Jeffree Star's still working with Hair by Jay, and she expresses all of her opinions about that, which aren't, you know, the most pleasant, but she's being honest.
So everyone's been tagging me in this about Jeffree still using Hair by Jay. Obviously he is. Jeffree's the one who said all those vile things. Jay was just stupid enough to repeat and confirm it online because he's his little minion. But Jeffree is also just as vile, so obviously trash is going to keep trash. He was just trying to save face for a couple days, I guess. If you don't remember Jay, let me remind you of this beautiful human.
I will destroy you, bitch. By the time I'm done with you, you're gonna look anorexic.
And these are the people that Shane and Ryland continue to support for that $1. Ryland in his shitty merch using Jeffree's merch company. But okay, cool. Trash recognized trash. Devil plays with devil. Cool. The most offensive part about Jay's rant was him saying if we, him including himself and Jeffree, you're the hired help, don't forget. But he said if we called her, saying him and Jeffree called me, that I'd be dying to hang out with them. And Jeffree called and pleaded, trying to keep some sort of friendship or some sort of like cool relationship online. I would never hang out with these two people again if you paid me $1 million. They're the trash scum of the internet, and it's been proven time and time again, but because they're popular, they get away with it. And because they have money. Money doesn't buy happiness. They're cold in the dark on the inside, let me.
And she seems to generally have the same thoughts and feelings about this whole situation as we do, which is, you know, Jeffree keeps on lying to people, and then, you know, once people eat it up and forget about it, he just goes back to his old ways. And that's exactly what happened with this, and that's exactly the opinion she expresses in the video. And it's not nice, but it's what needs to be said, and no one needs to be nice to Jeffree. He doesn't deserve that. Then she also talks about Ryland and how I recently spoke about the fact that Ryland wants to evolve the podcast into a non-drama podcast. He has a podcast called The Sip where he discusses pop culture and YouTube drama, and the irony and hypocrisy and all of that is him and his boyfriend are in the most drama on YouTube. That was probably the biggest drama of YouTube. So it's very weird for him to complain about drama channels talking about Shane Dawson and him, and then having his own drama podcast and selling merch and profiting off of The Sip, which is basically spilling the tea. It's the tea, right? It's like he's coining on our catchphrases and our sayings while also complaining about us all the time. And she spoke about that as well. She spoke about that in the Frenemies podcast as well, but it, you know, the TikTok's there.
Ryland on his new podcast saying he's done talking about tea, even though his podcast is called The Sip, because he hates it when people talk about him and Shane. They talk about Shane, boo-boo. You're just a fiance. You're just a little mouthpiece in the Shane Dawson realm. Also, the Sip merch is the kind of merch that literally makes me cringe. What is it? What does it mean? Why do you have a tea bag if you're rebranding and no longer spilling tea? Even though that was so unoriginal to begin with, because how many tea podcasts do we really need? Oh, also, it's designed by Merch. You're trash. You lied. You knowingly lied. Of a best friend to Shane for 12 years, you knowingly lied about me and not knowing about Jeffree. You guys are a snake, and you deserve each other. Jeffree using and flaunting Hair by Jay, trash. They're the scum of the earth, and one day a rain will come and wash the scum away.
And that's that on Trisha Paytas. Then we have Andreas Lopez. So recently Andreas was also accused of multiple things, and Hannah Stocking, who was his girlfriend, broke up with him, and there were multiple interviews with her. And then Andreas was on a live stream and someone asked him about Hannah Stocking, and he basically was just like, yeah, I don't know how she's doing. You can go on her account and check her out and see how she's doing, but I don't know because she's not here.
I'm doing pretty good. I got a nice workout in. I've been, you know, just kind of like working on my motivation and, you know, just praying and keeping faith. And ¿Y tu novia? Where's Hannah? You can always click on her profile and, you know, click her stories, and you'll see exactly where she's at. Yeah. Just go look at her page. You'll see where she's at. You know, if you're wondering where she's at, she's apparently she's not here.
And he's saying this as like a, oh, pity me, poor me. And it's like, did you expect her to stay with you? Like, did you expect her to stick around and accept your behavior? Like, I don't know what you expected her to do, because you're acting like, oh, feel sorry for me, she left me. Yeah, for good reason. Then we have Zoe Laverne, who also was accused of the same stuff, except it was actual like videos of her doing stuff. So she recently came out and said she was pregnant, and everyone assumed the worst, that she was pregnant with a child. Well, pregnant with a child, if that makes sense. Like she was pregnant with a 13-year-old, which is no, I don't even want to think about it. Turns out she's pregnant with some like new guy that she's seeing. People think that she's faking it because they keep on finding the pictures that she's posting on the internet. But then she went on live, peed on a stick on live, and showed everyone she was pregnant. Like there were minutes of her just peeing on a stick on live. She posted multiple TikToks about this, explaining the whole situation, complaining about the fact that everyone's complaining about her.
This you? This you?
Actually, it's this you for assuming. Let me put you on some facts real quick. So these are my pregnancy tests. This is my counter. This is exactly where I took the picture. This is the box that I bought with the pregnancy test in them, with that test, which is right there, and with this test, which is right there. Lucky for you, I went and bought 2 more just to test and prove you wrong. Sadly, they didn't have the tests that I bought originally, so I got these 2. Waiting. Just opened the second pack. Now this one's waiting. As you can see, this one is coming up with the plus, which is pregnant. Pregnant. And this one says positive too. Oh, but I'm lying, remember? Shit just don't add up.
This is such an uncomfortable situation. Honestly, I'm concerned for the child that she's going to have. I'm concerned. That vegan teacher, recently she's been beefing people like Tommy Innit and a bunch of teenagers, basically, or young adults. And her TikTok account was taken down, disabled, whatever you want to call it. And she has 3, I believe, and all of them have been taken down for content guideline violations. So she must have done a few things. I've watched a lot of like stuff about the TikTok algorithm, and I think people that work at TikTok said you usually get about 3 strikes and you're out. So she must have had like a few strikes, at least 3 from my calculations, for her to be banned. I wonder if it's for like stuff like bullying children, basically. Like I think that's just her thing. And she recently came back and basically posted like a little clip saying, you guys are happy that I'm banned because you feel guilty about eating animals. It's like, no, we just don't want you to bully people, you know? We just don't want you to bully kids and get into the business of a 16-year-old and who he's dating and who he's not dating. You know, it got very weird towards the end. Mike. If you guys don't know, Mike is Logan Paul's best friend and a guy that works with him, basically, and he was given a platform because of being friends with Logan Paul. He has like millions of subscribers now, and he was dating Lana Rhoades, which also gave him a lot of views. Logan Paul is moving to Puerto Rico, which we already spoke about a few videos back. He's gonna be like doing 6 months there, 6 months in LA. I think he's doing it for tax purposes, but that's just my opinion. As someone who's semi-interested in finance, I think he's trying to move to Puerto Rico for 6 months so he can claim that he spends most of the year there and have less taxes, because LA I think has one of the highest taxes in every state in America, basically. It's like one of the highest taxed states in America. So I think he wants to have like the best of both worlds, like have 6 months of a holiday and then 6 months of LA while paying non-LA taxes, basically, is my opinion. But that is alleged my opinion. Mike doesn't want to move to Puerto Rico with him, so he's staying in LA. And it just seems like people are saying, you know, the clout bucket is running dry because his friend is moving away for half the year, so he can't clickbait him for 6 months out of the year. So now he's apparently starting a content house with banks, like face banks. But he's also broken up with Lana Rhoades again. They were together, they broke up, he did a whole emotional video about it. And then they got back together without announcing it, really. And then now they're broken up again, and apparently he's not making a big video about it this time, even though Logan Paul really wants him to. But they mentioned it on one of the Impulsive podcasts. Logan Paul was kind of happy about it, like weirdly. He kept on going, yeah, like I'm really sorry for you, but like I'm happy to have my friend back. So I think there's really some stuff happening behind the scenes. You know, Logan wasn't happy about the relationship, Mike wasn't happy about the relationship, and it's now over. I don't know for how long. But that's the situation with that. The last story for today is Sway House. 4 of them got back together to film a video, and I'm mainly going to be focusing on Josh and Bryce. So they filmed a video answering like questions and stuff. And at some point, someone asked the question if all of the girlfriends of the Sway boys like each other. Like that sentence made no sense to me, but anyway, you get it. Sway boys have girlfriends. Do the girlfriends of those guys like each other? And they said no. And Bryce actually explained it as like they want to rip each other's hair out, but they didn't mention who.
Not all of your guys' girlfriends get along. True. Sway boys are close. Sway girlfriends?
They want to rip each other's hairs out. So
Hairs, individually.
Just like
individually. That's how much they hate each other. They want to individually rip out each other's hairs.
Some people are making speculation. Some people are saying it's Mads doesn't like Nessa because of Jaden, because Nessa got friendly with Mads and then got friendly with Jaden, and then apparently in that time when they were planning a collab, because Nessa and Jaden released a song together just recently, apparently Mads unfollowed Nessa, so people are wondering, is it Nessa and Mads? And then some people are saying that it's Dixie who doesn't like Nessa because Nessa kissed Chase, and Chase is Charlie's ex and Charlie is Dixie's sister. And then some people are saying if it's Addison, but some people are saying Addison seems to like everyone because she's like just a really kind girl. So people are wondering, who is it? Who hates who? And who wants to rip out whose hair? I'm kind of interested in this one as well. I want to know who's ripping out whose hair, because they all seem to be so friendly when it comes to like TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. But I want to know who hates who behind the scenes, and I want to know why, because I'm nosy. That's just the issue here. I'm nosy and I want to know. So there's that, and that will be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, comment down below anything you want to comment down below, and subscribe to post videos every time something happens. Hit that bell to be notified when that's happening. Social media links and the links in the description. I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.